Welcome to the DSEF. The Direct Selling Executives Forum was created to be a place where real direct selling executives and vendors in the space can come out and share solutions to challenges that face us all in the marketplace. Our guest today is going to be unpacking a topic and sharing their raw thoughts for you to learn from. All right, let's go meet our guest. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our next session of the Direct Selling Executives Forum Open Panel. And this week on our session, the topic is playing with AI. Now, many of you have seen all kinds of materials covered at industry events, all about how AI is impacting referral marketing, direct sales, social selling across the space. As we were going through this topic and thinking about who could speak on how we were applying AI to different parts of our business and frameworks that are helpful and what was good, what wasn't good, what would work well. And one of our members, Robert Butwin, had introduced us to our speaker today. And I'm so grateful that James Feldman is here. Now, before we bring out James and have Omar start the session today, I want to just share with you a little bit about James. He is a highly regarded speaker, known for his captivating and dynamic style. You're going to have a lot of fun today. His works engage audiences globally, from Fortune 500 companies to small businesses, with over 30 years of experience, specializing in leadership development, sales training, and customer service. As the AI Concierge and ChatGPT Transformation Growth Advisor, James D. Feldman provides innovative solutions to help companies maintain a competitive edge. His visionary thinking and thought leadership have led to the creation of transformation strategies that align with business and organizational goals. He's authored 20 books on various business and change management topics and delivered over 1,000 keynote presentations on change and adapting to new business environments. His most recent creation, the SOAR Academy, is a testament to his invaluable insights in harnessing the power of AI tools for business. James, thanks so much for joining us here today.
Thanks for having me. Look forward to it.
Well, and this is a fun one because both James and I are Chicago guys. So we'd love, we get people all over the world speaking on these sessions, and it's so fun to have you here. So with that, we're going to start the show. Omar, passing the show to you. The show is yours.
Thank you, Ben. Welcome, James. And we are so grateful to have you today. The topic for today, as Ben said, is a very interesting one of my favorite ones, playing with AI. So, James, you have had a phenomenal story of serving brands. Before we jump into the topic of AI for companies today, let's take a moment and have you share a bit of your entrepreneurial journey. Ben told me you landed Toyota as a client in the 80s. How did that happen? And what was that like?
There was an article in the Wall Street Journal that said the U.S. government was going to start to restrict the number of import of Japanese cars. This was obviously being driven by the car companies in Detroit.
Sure.
So I wrote a letter to Toyota, and it went on deaf ears. And I called, and it went on deaf ears. And I thought, I'm doing this wrong. They don't make any money selling new cars. They make money on parts and service and used cars. So I went directly to the parts department at Toyota, and they took the call. And I said, I've got an idea to help you sell more parts. And they said, well, where are you located? I said, you give me the appointment, I'll be there tomorrow. And I jumped on a plane and flew out and sat down with them. And they said, we don't know who you are, and why should we do this? Here's $10,000. We want you to do blah, blah, blah. Knocked it out of the park. Okay, here's $25,000. We got this other little project. Knocked it out of the park. Okay, you seem to be somebody with solutions. We need a supplier for white grease and silicone spray. I don't even know what white grease is. If you remember in cars, it was the icky stuff on the hinges of the cars that made it lubricated.
Yeah.
So again, there was no real way to find out other than going to the library and looking it up and so forth. And I'm trying to figure it out. And I find the name of this company in Florida, and I pick up the phone and I say, hey, do you guys make white grease? Yes, we do. Do you make silicone spray? Absolutely. Okay, I'm going to fly down and talk to you guys. Literally got on a plane, my dime, flew down. These guys were so excited to actually talk to a human being that wasn't from Detroit. And I said, will you private label this? For who? No, we don't do private. It's Toyota. Oh, yeah. I said, I want to be your rep. I want to make 10% on everything that I sell to Toyota. He goes, yeah, okay. Well, we don't know what we're going to price it out. We'll just price it in with your 10%. So from Florida, I flew back to California with samples. I said, here's your white grease, here's your silicone spray, and 3 other products that they made. One of them was like a polyglycol wax, etc. They said, all right, we're going to try it. Who do we send the purchase order to try it? I gave him the number and I said, how much is that going to be? He goes, $100,000 for the trial. Whoa. I just made 10,000 from him.
Yeah.
And they said, well, what do you charge for this? And I said, I charge 10%. No, we don't pay on a percentage. We'll give you a flat fee. Tell you what, if this works, we'll give you $100,000 as your fee for bringing it to us. Okie dokie.
Wow.
And that's the way it started. The next project, I was there and they were talking about this project that they had a $500,000 budget. And it was to create a promotion to get more people to bring their cars in to be worked on. And I said, I want to bid on it. Well, what do you know about it? I'm telling you, I am going to really look, I've done everything else right. You guys got to, okay, fine. Now, the other people that were there were huge companies. I mean, we're talking 50, 200 million. Leo Burnett was bidding on it, the advertising company. I went out and interviewed 100 dealers on my dime, created a 15 projector slideshow, took it to Toyota and said, here we go. I'm going to present it, but I have to be the last presenter. In my mind, I figured if I was the last presenter, I could have them make a decision right away rather than all this waiting around. So I flew a crew out there, and gentlemen, between the expense of putting together, flying around, etc., I had about $80 left in my checking account. That was it. I was tapped out. I did this 15 projector show. I showed it to them. They liked it. They said, okay, we'll be back in a couple of weeks. And I said, in all due respect, all the decision makers are in the room. My team is here. Make the decision. Well, we weren't prepared to do that. I said, I totally understand, but I'm not prepared to go home without a purchase order. And in all due respect, this is really a good idea. I've talked to 100 dealers. Do you really want to go back to your 100 dealers? Oh, by the way, did I mention that those 100 dealers account for 78% of the total sales of Toyota? Oh, so you cherry pick the dealers? Absolutely. All right, go out and wait in the hall. And these four guys were looking at me and they said, we've never met anybody that plays poker the way you play poker. Do you play poker? I said, I don't even know how to play poker. I have no interest in learning. So they brought me back in and they brought the chairman of Toyota. And Toyota's namesake is spelled differently. The family name is spelled differently than Toyota because it's Japanese. At the end of it, they said, can you do everything that you presented to us? And I said, no. Well, you showed us a lot of extras. Yes. Well, why'd you do that? Because you need the training, you need the incentives, you need this. Yes. Well, what's it going to take to do everything that you showed us? I said, about $2 million. But our budget's $500,000. I said, yes, for your budget, I can do what you asked. But you just asked me if I could do everything I presented. Yeah. I went back in, they said, we don't think you can do it for $2 million. So we're going to write a purchase order for $2.5 million. Don't come back ask for any more money. Gentlemen, when the promotion was over, they netted, after paying me, they netted $11.7 million.
Ooh.
That's how I landed Toyota.
No, and I love this picture of what you unpacked because so many times when you're creating solutions, whether for your reps or whether for your company or whether with a vendor, many times you think you're solving one problem, but there's a bigger answer. There's a bigger solution that creates even a bigger result than what the first ask is. And one of the things that I appreciate about even the conversation we've had, James, over the last few weeks and months as we got to know each other, is that idea of saying, okay, well, you could do that, but you could also play the bigger. You could play bigger if you wanted to, you know, and that's a encouraging relationship to be in. Wherever we go, it's an invitation to always remember that you don't have to settle on deliverables. There's always another level. So just like you hear the law of the lid from like principles of leadership of what slows people down, you know, it's like, why are you living with the lid at that level? Like, why not move it to the other? So I love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much. The opening.
And if you use the principle, Ben, if you use the principle, people do not default up.
Yeah.
So basically, I showed them everything and said, okay, what do you want to remove? Well, we don't want to take this away. Oh, we don't want to take that away. And then they start to sell themselves on why this is such a good value proposition.
Yeah, it's their idea now.
Yes.
Oh, it's our idea.
Yes.
Absolutely. Incredible story. Thank you, James, for sharing that. The second question is, most companies are enamored with the possibilities of AI. What frameworks have you found helpful as others look to deploy AI into different business functions?
Yeah.
That's such a great story
Yeah.
because the answer to that changes every day.
Sure. Yeah. No, it's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
When I
Absolutely true.
started, I mean, I've been using AI before it became sort of serial for everybody. And I was a very, very early, when they first said OpenAI, I got to be part of the beta test. At that time, let's just call it 2 years ago, there were about 500 AI tools. If you Google or you go to Perplexity or some of the research tools and ask that same question, they go, we don't know. But we think it's in excess of 250,000 tools. So to your point, my friend, when you say, what's the best tool? I always couch it with what time is it? Because new tools come out every single day. Other tools are going away. Some tools are doing so well you can't even sign up for them without getting on a wait list. But I do have a certain set of default tools that have allowed me to really be very active in everything that I'm doing. But I tell everybody there is no one size fits all. There just isn't. Let's say you're in ChatGPT and you're using Dolly and you want to create an image. Dolly can't spell. Most image creating tools cannot spell. It's a fact. So you have to come up with a way to then take whatever the text is and alter it. Well, Dolly doesn't care. I mean, they're in the business of selling you or giving you an image. They're not in the text business, etc.
True.
Yeah. And then we've got two rules that I tell everybody: trust but verify. I don't care what you get from AI. AI has no conscience. It doesn't check its own work. It has no responsibility. It leaves that all up to you. I remember the very first time I said, I would like an open left hand, and I got back a hand that was turned around with 6 fingers. Then I said it again, and I got a closed hand the other way, tipped down, and it had no thumb, and on and on and on. And I've kept it because it's so funny because it couldn't get it right. Now it does a much better job because over time it's learned better.
Yes.
And you have less of those problems.
That trust but verify is a framework we've heard from even others who are using AI tools inside of their world. But when you're making decisions about which tool to use or not use, is there any pattern you put in place or any practice you've put in place that you've found to be helpful as you decipher which ones are applicable to different businesses?
Define the end results first. Don't get caught up in the bright, shiny pennies. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to come up with a graphic that is blah, 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 blah. Okay. Is it a photo illustrated graphic? Is it and you start to ask those questions. How do you want it rendered? Okay. What are you going to do with it? Does it need to be high resolution? Why are you asking all those questions? Well, here's my second rule. Name your AI assistant. Give it a personality.
I love that.
Stop thinking of it as a bot. So when I first started, I named mine Boris because I grew up with Rocky and Bullwinkle, and I liked Boris and Natasha. But you know what? Most of the people I talked to didn't have a clue who Boris was. And I spent time explaining it. I said, well, this is not. My assistant is named Mr. Spock. Since I hired Mr. Spock, nobody asked me who Mr. Spock is. They go, why did you hire Mr. Spock? And I said, it was only logical.
Sure.
Yeah.
And if you're a Trekkie, you get the humor behind it, etc.
Sure.
So the second part of that is that it is the moment that you start thinking of AI as an assistant. How would you talk to the assistant? And we call those prompts.
Yeah.
Everybody is, oh, I can't write a prompt. Oh, I'm caught up. No. Just turn to Mr. Spock and say, Mr. Spock, as the CEO of this company, I need the following to do the following in some form, fashion. It's text, it's video, whatever. And now you have some direction, and that direction then starts to point you to the tools that do some of the jobs.
I love that perspective. So I'm so happy you went right there, James, because I have seen that to be the key is that when you think about it as like the most intelligent executive assistant you've ever hired in your life, that is a perfect starting point. And you can frame the questions James just talked about, even to say,
Yeah.
so with that information, what other answers do you need from me? Just like you would with an employee. What else do you need to know from me to be able to do it with excellence? And you'd be amazed. The AI system will come ask you, well, here, let me make sure I got it right, Mr. James. Like, you want this, and this. What about this, and this? Or what are the top 10 questions you have for me to make sure you're able to deliver on my request? Just going there like you would with a human team is going to get you way better results than
Yeah.
just some blanket statement or blanket prompt where you're playing with it like a toy. And some great, really good notes on your side.
And the
Absolutely.
second part of that same discussion is, aren't you going to pay your assistant?
Exactly.
So what are you moaning about the $20 for ChatGPT? Are you serious?
Yeah.
I mean, I get on calls and go, are you using the free version? Yes. Well, do you expect it to do as well as the paid version? Well, but it's $20. Seriously? Are you seriously not going to invest $20?
Yeah. That's a solid point. Completely different access. That's what you have to understand, to the engine, to the network, completely different inside of the space.
They're running a business. Surprise, surprise. And they've invested tens of billions of dollars. Don't you think they want to get it back with some kind of an ROI on their investment? Oh,
Yeah.
when you say it that way, yeah, that's the way I'm saying it. I love the history of Canva, 19-year-old lady in Australia.
Yeah.
19 years old, the company is now worth over $1 billion.
Yep.
And you
Yep.
know what? What she did is something that I'd been doing most of my life because I came up as a photographer. And I'm looking at this going, Jim, you're an idiot. You could have figured this out, but different mindset, different age group, etc. Yeah.
Talking about all of these frameworks and the ROIs, what pitfalls have you seen take others off track when using AI?
They don't have an end result.
Mm.
They go down the path going, well, it's not taking me where I want to go. Well, did you say that at the beginning? No. Well, then, it's the story of Rabbit in Alice in Wonderland. You know where you're going? No. Well, then it'll get you there.
Yeah. Any road will get you there.
Any road will get you there. Right.
Yeah.
So to your point, I tell everybody, think of it as a flight plan. The pilot gets in the plane with a very definitive role of going from where they are now to where they want to end up.
Yeah.
However, they have all the contingencies. What if this happens? What if that happens? Oh, isn't it just plug and play? No, it's not.
No, it's not.
I had a doctor come to me. She said, you seem to know a lot about AI. I'd like to hire you because I want to get rid of all my staff. I said, what? She said, yeah, they're really annoying and they don't show up and they're this. I said, you are a doctor, correct? She goes, yes, but isn't there a way? I said, I don't think you understand AI and I don't understand medicine, but I will tell you right now, I expect you to be a human being that has some care and some feelings. I don't want to talk to somebody that's on a iPad or whatever. And she didn't get it. She was upset with me. And I said, you have a misnomer. This is not a movie set. This is the real world. I say to everybody, AI does things very well. The first one is speed. It is amazingly fast. But when you're that fast, it's difficult to look at the scenery that you're running by. It's difficult to look at the gas gauge. It's difficult to do all kinds of things. If you're going really fast, AI will get you there, but you may not have all the things that you thought you needed when you started the trip. So plan out your trip first.
That's a good thought. Were there any others, just as you've been speaking on stage and people implementing over the time, begin with the end in mind is a key tactic. I mean, Stephen Covey talks about it in Habits of Highly Successful People years ago, and it's true when it comes to AI. What other pitfalls have you run into over the last, we usually say years and years and years of a study, and this is
days
over the last 20 months. Is there any others you've seen that have just been
again, Ben, I think that we've got to recognize that there are some really, really, really smart people working on this stuff. Yeah. But most of them are not business people. Most of them are tech type people. So they focus on coding and the bot creations and this, but don't really say at the end, how do I make money or save time? And if I got to spend all my time verifying it because you keep giving me so much garbage, then I'm not saving time. So like one of my
Mm.
absolute favorite tools is Perplexity. And I discovered Perplexity early on. The other day, I actually saw a television ad for Perplexity. They're paying for media advertising. That's how big they've gotten so fast.
Yeah.
And for those that don't
Absolutely.
understand what Perplexity is or have no context for your statement, just could you unpack for a moment why you love Perplexity and the difference it's made? Just to
Sure. So it's
for a few-
perplexity.ai. Think of going to the library where they had all the encyclopedias and all the information you needed, but you're standing in a library going, must be here somewhere.
Sure.
I'm in the library. That's Perplexity. But what Perplexity does is it not only gives you a consolidation, but where it came from. So it gives you the citations and the references. Now, somebody said, well, that's a great idea. Why doesn't ChatGPT do that? Because you didn't ask it. If you go into ChatGPT and you set up your profile, and for those of you that don't know how to do this, go to ChatGPT, find the little icon for your name, touch it, and a little pull-down menu occurs. And it's got 4 things. My GPT, customize ChatGPT, what are the settings? And within it are questions. But the important part is to customize and say, this is who I am, and this is how I want you to talk to me.
Yeah.
And you can change it every time you go in or not, because maybe you want to tweak it, etc. But I will say things like, I want the long version, not the short version. I don't want your opinion. I want to see citations and references. Do your homework. And it'll come back and say, did you want 4 more references? Yes, I did. Okay. And that's the way you train Mr. Spock.
Yeah.
Nice.
Expectations all the way through. All the way.
Yeah, James, for those that need help with AI, I understand you're hosting an upcoming workshop in the exclusive Lake Point Towers. If others would like to learn how to apply for your event, where should they go?
So let me explain the concept. The concept is, this is not teaching you how to use Canva or how to use Perplexity. It's going to teach you why you use Canva and why you use Perplexity. And you come to us with a very specific objective. And so it's small groups. And because they're small groups, you're going to walk away with the solutions. So I'm going to put some information in the chat box and some gifts to your readers, listeners, etc. Every one of these things that I have put into the chat are unique tools that you may or may not have discovered on your own. I'm just trying to share some of the information because remember, there's 250,000 tools. I remember I was trying to build some cabinetry and the carpenter said, you want to go with me to Home Depot to buy a hammer? And I go, buy a hammer? Just go buy a hammer. He goes, there's a lot of different hammers. What? I went with him and he gave me an education on hammers. I had no idea. They were bigger, they were longer, they were designed for this, they were designed for that. That's the same thing with all these AI tools. So we've created what we call the SOAR Academy. It's 2 days. Sit here, do your work, and you will leave with a solution and the tools to whatever it is. And you have to apply to be admitted. So I'll put that information in the chat box. Thanks for asking.
You got it. And we'll have that in the show notes for those of you watching on replay. We'll have the information linked to SOAR. That's perfect.
Absolutely.
And thank you for putting that all. Yep.
Thank you, James. For those executives that are beyond busy, you've shared so many gold nuggets today. What one thing would you leave them with regarding AI for business?
Number 1, there is no one tool that does it all. If you're looking for the closest tool that does it all, then I have a suggestion for you. And the suggestion is, it's in the links, by the way. There's a company that now takes ChatGPT and lots of other search engines and basically allows you to have all these engines come together.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool because what it does is instead of just using chat, it uses Jasper and Bing and Baird and Gemini, etc. And they charge you $19 for all of it.
Yeah.
Now, is it as accurate? Well, keep in mind, now you got 8 cooks in the kitchen. So if you're looking to create some writing, you may find that Jasper is much better at creative writing than ChatGPT, etc. So once again, guys, you got to find out what works for you, not necessarily what works for me.
Right.
And to that point of what James sharing, what we found so interesting, if you can even rewind back to Chris Adams' episode on our panel just earlier this year, Chris came from an operations standpoint at Prince's House, talking about how they were using AI to help with which products to reorder and inventory management. And so you heard James today talk a lot about image creation, presentations, marketing materials, getting answers to questions and citing where those came from. But what you have to remember is to ask that question, just like Omar just said, for my role in the company. Some of you on this line are COO. Some of you on this line are CMO. Some of you are CSO. And the thing to remember is this intelligent assistant is available for your seat. It's not just for marketing. It's not just for sales. There is a bunch of your work that if you hired a really smart executive assistant would likely come off your plate. And guess what? That assistant's here. And you can go do that if you spend the time figuring it out. And that's why we picked the topic of playing with AI too. Because just as you've heard James say again and again and again, a lot of the wins that come from this is that nobody's an AI expert at the end of the day. There's just somebody who's been, different people who've been playing with it longer than you at the end of the day.
True.
And so the more you can pick up on some frameworks and the more you can pick up on some best practices to save yourself some time as you look at how you maximize your own time and your schedule and your day, better it's going to be. And there are whole divisions in your business where maybe there are some lower value tasks where you could free up staff. Maybe you're going to have to find some new roles for some team members on your team at your company because AI will do what they were currently doing. And then maybe it's not always about just replacing headcount, though, to James's point earlier. Inside of
let me liken it to two scenarios. You're hungry. You go to the grocery store. There's 30,000 items in the grocery store. How do you decide what you're going to buy? Well, this is on sale or this is featured or whatever. And you go, I'm too confused. I'm going to go to Costco's because I'm hungry.
Sure.
Yeah. A hot dog is $1.50. That's a for sure. Chicken is $4.99. That's a for sure.
Yeah.
But when you leave Costco's, you've got $200 worth of stuff in your shopping cart. You had no idea how it got there. That's the issue with ChatGPT, AI tools, etc. Go for the hot dog, go for the chicken. Then when you decided you know about the hot dog and you know about the chicken, then add something to your plate. But don't just fill up your whole cart because you'll end up not knowing how to use anything.
And that goes back to that final thought of beginning with the end in mind. If we could leave a one thought, those of you that are here today, it's to just go pick that low value task that oh my gosh, I need to duplicate this out of my life. Not low, it's value to the organization, but it's not your dollar per hour ratio. And you know what that is in your world here, executives that are on this call. And just ask the question, what would it take for AI to replace this for me? And start playing. That's the invitation from today, is if you haven't yet done it, just start playing because so much more is available to you. I know that even for Omar and I, we're constantly looking at different ways AI could play a role in our own organization and what that could be and what that could look like inside of our space. And I encourage you to as well. For those of you that are brand new to the DSEF watching on Spotify or YouTube, I want to thank you so much for being here today. It was a total treat and honor to have James on the line. We'll have the links in the comments for the show to apply for his SOAR program if you are looking to meet up in that intimate setting or hand-holding process to apply these principles to your life. For those of you that have not yet joined the forum, you can go to directSellingExecutivesForum.com and it will forward you to our LinkedIn group, or you can go on LinkedIn, type in Direct Selling Executives Forum. It's free to join our group. You can apply there for any referral marketing companies as an executive and get access to more panels and training just like this. If there's a topic you'd like to see us cover on an upcoming panel, comment in the group. That's where the community lives. I want to thank you so much for being on here today. We wish each and every single one of you the best in the week ahead. Have an amazing day, and we'll talk with you soon.
Thank you, James. Thank you.
Thank you,
Ben.
If you haven't yet joined the DSEF group on LinkedIn, go to directSellingExecutiveForum.com or go on LinkedIn and search for Direct Selling Executive Forum to apply. The group is free and is an invite-only community of direct selling executives by direct selling executives.